Hey everybody, we're getting ready to cut the inner fenders out on the 66 C10. And what I've done is made a cardboard template of what the top of this wheel looks like, the contour of it. Just from some photos and past experience, I kind of know where I need to cut this out. Last time I just cut it straight up and straight across and it looked really good, but I want this one to be a little bit better looking as far as match the wheel. So I just use this template. I know usually you cut all the way up to the top of this, so I just made a line and went all the way back and then cut it out straight. So Nick Hester, again, I'm going to reference him a lot. He posts so many pictures and it's really helpful. So I've zoomed into probably 30 or 40 of his pictures to see where his cuts are. And he's done so many trucks, I can kind of gauge where the best cuts have been. And then on my green truck, I had cut too far up, and even though it all cleared, there's a little bit more of a gap than I wanted. I want this one to be a little bit tighter. The hardest part of this is when you start cutting in to your actual fender here. This stuff here you can clean up and touch up with satin black paint, but when you get to really good paint like this, you have to be super careful. So that is why I've taped everything out. This is where my cut lines are going to be. Last time I used a grinder, believe it or not. Grab that. Last time I used a grinder with a cutoff wheel, and I went through and I cut all this with this big tool, and then I used a Sawzall to get some of the smaller stuff. Man, even though it turned out great, that was a little bit of a pain. So I'm like, how can I do this? Even do this with the hood still attached. So what I'm gonna do here, and this is what the plan is I've got this angle grinder. So this is a little bit more precise than that big grinder. So what I'm gonna do is start here in the corner, and I'm gonna get me a little slot cut first. Just a little bitty slot cut all the way through, and the same right here. And then once that little slot is going to be for me to come back with this small reciprocating body saw. So this is my idea, is once I get a little cut in there, I can slide this through the cut and then really be precise with cutting this, so I'm not throwing sparks everywhere. This thing won't sling any sparks. And then also when I get ready to do this, I can cut, then make more of an angle, and then take my time to angle that out with this. So first time using this combination, but I hope that it turns out really well, and we'll check it out. There it is. I'm actually super impressed with how well that combination worked to not sling sparks everywhere. I did forget to mention you do have to trim off where your old spring bracket was to get in there. But what I'm gonna do now is just use this angle grinder here and just smooth out some of the edges, make sure they're nice and smooth, and then I'll leave it taped up. That way I can go ahead and touch up with some black paint and not get it everywhere. That way there's not any metal showing. The stand, and we'll take a look at the first side. It's hard to tell, you've got a glare in the sun there, but killer. All right, got them all cut out, and I got the truck lowered down. Man, looks good. But you can see plenty of space there, plenty around. Super happy with how this turned out. It's always kind of scary when you start cutting into trucks, especially when they have nice paint. My other ones have been patina trucks, but I think it turned out super clean.